Welcome back, everybody, again this week to another episode of the Geekdom podcast. My name's Joseph, your host, as always. With me again this week is Nate. Nate, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. I think I'm going through a little post-game depression, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good if it wasn't for the little sadness you have from finishing your games. But we will get to
Yeah.
that at some point today. But we've got quite a bit of news this week. It was a decent news-filled week, and let's go ahead and start out this week. A news report came out this week stating that the reason that Halo Infinite was delayed was that the developers are basically busy doing so many things that they're distracted, and that took away from development.
Right. Um, and that honestly seems like a management problem more than a developer problem.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Like, and, mm,
no, go ahead. It's
I
just
don't know, if you're a head manager at like 343, you should be able to keep your workers, your developers, and your TV series team separated at least a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
if
No,
you're
I 100% agree.
Yeah, if you're a head manager, you're getting paid the money to make everything work the way it should. Apparently, you're not doing your job.
No, I 100% agree. Um, yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I agree that's more of a management problem. And of course, they came out and said, "Oh, no, this is a false accusation and stuff like that." But let's be honest, it's probably true.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things that makes sense. Uh, but yeah, it just yeah, it got delayed. Did this have something to do with it? Did it not have something to do with it? We don't know. But
I mean, regardless of what they say, it
yeah,
anybody's gonna say it absolutely had something to do with it. Like anybody that's like looking from the outside in and not on the inside, all of our impressions are more than likely going to be, yeah, it absolutely had something to do with it. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how I see it. I imagine that's how a lot of people see it. So,
yeah.
but sorry about that, guys. I was distracted for a second. Um, but our next bit of news is just one that I think is funny, and you brought it up, and I watched when it happened the other day. But Tim, yeah, I did. I was like I saw so many tweets about it that day. I know they've been going back and forth, but I saw so many tweets that day uh, about it that I had to click on, and sure enough, two races later he won. But that's Tim the Tatman, finally winning a game of Fall Guys, and just being trolled, just absolutely trolled, not only by the Fall Guys Twitter, but every streamer. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
every streamer got into that. But yeah,
I'm actually kind of sad that he won. And the reason I'll say that is because the the savageness from Fall Guys, man, those guys really know how to interact with their community
yeah,
in a funny, like lighthearted way. Um, and I think that's what we need more from companies. And now that he's won, I think he's won more than one now, hasn't he?
I haven't watched anymore since then. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
I think he's won two or three now.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, I mean, good for Tim, but like bad for us for entertainment because Fall Guys were like reaming his ass.
Yeah, they were they were riding him pretty hard.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
yeah, it was pretty good, but
Like one of Tim's like tweets back to them was like, "Don't talk to me." I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, that's great."
Oh, his celebration afterwards, he got him a big Bud Light seltzer and celebrated, and all that weirdness. But yeah, uh, he did it. Like the phrase "he did it" was actually trending on Twitter
Yeah,
when he won his first race. It was funny.
but I mean, Tim's kind of always been like that punching bag, though.
Yeah,
but good for him for always taking it in stride
Yeah.
and then eventually overcoming it every time.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Uh, but yeah, it'd be interesting to watch the Fall Guys Twitter. Like now that he's done it, go find another streamer
Oh
that
yeah,
hasn't won one, and just keep hopping from stream like a streamer guilt trip until everybody wins a game. But
that's and another thing. One of their tweets to him was like, "We were even banning hackers and cheaters in your lobby to try to help you win. You couldn't win."
yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I saw something about one of his games at one point. They banned 5 people in the middle of the game, and he still didn't win.
Yep,
So, but
it was great.
yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I'd like to see them do that with other streamers. Be like, oh, you guys can't win a game. That's sad.
And
But
then just making a week long
yeah,
attack.
yeah, basically, just keep attacking them until they win.
Yep.
Like some of those were like exceedingly harsh. One of them was like, at this point, we're pretty sure that Tim's son's gonna win his first game before Tim does. And his son's like a year old now or something
Yep.
like that. Not even a year old, maybe. But
Oh, it's great.
but yeah, it was good. But the next piece of news we got this week is some leaks, and we know how leaks go. Always take leaks with a grain of salt.
Yep.
But some PS5 leaks this week that it'll be coming November 20th. That the system's going to cost $4.99. The digital system's going to cost $5.99. Controllers are going to cost $70. And that next year we're going to get a wireless VR headset, which I think will
Yep.
be huge if it's true.
Yeah, it will be 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was actually one thing I was super disappointed about in these leaks, though.
Huh.
And that was just the amount of solid state space. Like they're allotting 175 gigs for system software and operating system. Who the hell needs 175 gigs for your system software and operating system, man? It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is quite a bit. But, it was the same way. I think it was. I'm trying to think. I don't know what it was on PlayStation 4. But I don't know, on PlayStation 3, it was like a good 45 gigs.
Right. No, I mean, I
Yeah.
get that, but we're like over tripling that
Yeah.
at this point. Like, and I understand it's new software. Um, they may not have it as streamlined as they need to.
But it also sounds like there's going to be quite a bit more in it this time. I would imagine the streaming software this time is going to be oodles and oodles better. Because, like, from the people that still stream from their PlayStation 4s, it's one of those things where, the technology with it has gotten better over time. Eventually, they added the ability to do green screens and stuff like that. And so, hopefully it continues, they continue down that route. I don't imagine, that they would be taking away the ability for people to use streaming, straight from the console, because so many people started their careers that way this time.
Right.
But yeah,
But
and
still, 175 gigs is
yeah,
outrageous to me. Sorry. Like,
I mean,
I don't care what you add. 175 gigs is way too much. A lot.
well, I think it's just a on the safe side, type of
And I'm
situation.
sure it is, but 100 gigs should be on
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, it'd just be one of those wait and see type of things, how much comes on the system, do apps like your Netflix and all your, do all them go into that too, does, the video editing software that like we got on PlayStation 4, does that go in that too?
Right.
Get game saves, capture, stuff like that, But yeah, the one thing that actually surprised me, and as much as I've read about the new controllers and like the haptic feedback and the triggers and how all that stuff works, and like I thought the controllers would be more expensive.
Yeah.
Like I saw $70, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's only like $5 more than a new PlayStation 4 controller cost, and it's so much far advanced over those. Like they put out articles this week, talking about like in things like the game Deathloop, which was delayed. Uh, if your gun can jam in that game, and when your gun jams in that game, your triggers won't go down
Yeah.
until you clear the jam. Or in Ratchet and Clank, there's a double barrel shotgun. To fire it once, you press it down until it doesn't give anymore, basically about halfway, and then you have to press harder, and the other shot will go off. So, and talking about how braking and gas and stuff will work in Gran Turismo. Like these controllers are far more advanced than the ones we have now.
Oh yeah, and like going off that, like I love how they're looking at innovation a little bit differently, because if they can innovate how you actually play with the controller, that innovates your entire immersive experience.
Yeah.
That should really be something more companies are looking into.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people were upset that there was talk originally that you'd be able to use your PSVR headset with your PlayStation 5, and I still believe that will be the case. But them saying this next one is wireless, tells me that there will be an option to plug in your old ones, or go wireless with the new one with probably a little bit more improvements and stuff in it. Because they're also selling a new camera.
Right. No, I mean if it's like 100% wireless, I mean even 90% wireless, because there's gonna have to be wires somewhere.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be amazing. If you can put that on your head and then just walk around freely, it's gonna change completely.
Yeah. And to still keep it at that lower VR price point. That's the reason why most people don't own VR, because the price is so outrageous that a lot of people can't afford it. And when it comes to PC, you have to have like a $1,200 PC to go with your almost $1,000 VR headset.
And that's like a minimum too.
Yeah,
like a minimum $1,200 PC.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to be like everything you want frame rate wise.
No.
So yeah, it's definitely an expensive endeavor.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting to see if these end up being true. Like I said, these are still leaks. Always take it with a grain of salt. But if this is the route they're going, like I feel like they've won already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, the only thing Xbox has going for it right now is Game Pass, and I feel like that's what they want. They just they want to just be a service more than anything.
Like Sony's up here playing Major League Baseball, and Microsoft is still playing T-ball.
Yeah.
So they're really trudging for this generation to just knock them out, man.
Yeah. But like I said, it'll be interesting. It can't be much longer. Gamescom starts at the end of this week.
Yeah.
I would expect we start hearing dates and pricing during Gamescom. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There should definitely be some stuff there for people to see. So, but so our next bit of news this week, which I found this story and I thought it was really cool. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, is funding fan games that tie into the Five Nights at Freddy's series.
Yep.
Which I think is real cool. Most people would just, have these games, DMCA them, legal action, take them down. No, he's looking at them and say, you know what, these are good. Let me help you make them better.
Well, like, it really shows the appreciation he has.
Yeah.
For the fans that have appreciation for what he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a circle of life at this point, man. Like, he made something that became like a cult classic in essence, and it inspired all of these people to make video games based around that. And I mean, it's just like a love triangle going on, man. It's great.
Yeah.
In a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's a lot of creators who won't see them out there doing that, and it'll be interesting to see when these games come out because there's still more Five Nights at Freddy games coming. We were supposed to have one this year. I don't know if it's still coming because that's how he works. Usually before the game comes out, you'll get one trailer like a week before, and that's it. And trying to figure out the story of those games is the guy in his basement with all the pictures pinned to the wall and strings running the things. And I recently read the books, and I'm still like, okay.
Game theory does the best job
Yeah.
of like putting the pieces together, man. And there's a lot of pieces to put together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a very in-depth story. And like at first glance, when the first FNAF came out, it didn't look like it had anything anywhere near that deep to it, and that just shows you what a great writer he is and a great creator he is on top of that. So
no, I 100% agree. Yeah, those games are creepy. I actually just last week bought the VR game. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see at some point. Halloween's not that far away.
No.
We'll save it for Halloween.
Good luck, bud.
Yeah, I know. Well, also they just released all of the games in the last couple of months. They've released all of the games on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So like Sister Location was the last one. I think it just came out. But
I've actually never played one. Not that I'm above playing one. It's just I wasn't so much in it for the gameplay, but once I figured out kind of how that story headed, I was super immersed in that, and I just watched game theory.
Yeah. No, I like the game theory videos, but I've been trying to build my own, is this what I think it actually is, fresh perspective on things. I know that's really weird to say about, some cheap indie games, but, they're intriguing.
I really think the story behind his games are more than just a cheap indie game. Like, he put some thought into that, man. Like, he put some real time and effort into that.
Yeah. But our next little bit of news we got this week is, we talked about it last week, and sure enough, they doubled down on making it worse this week.
Yep.
And that's 505, talking about Control. And, basically how they have to charge for the, upgraded version of the game, which is still weird to me. I thought I had a pretty good idea last week for their out, of why they don't have to charge people for that. I was like, if we have the regular edition in the DLC already, you should go ahead and give it to us. Go ahead and go. No. And they said no, basically.
They said nope.
Yeah, like they literally outlined my idea like in the leather, to fans. They were like, even if you own the game and buy the DLC, we're still not going to do it. You have to buy this edition of the game.
Yeah, it was like, hey, so you own the game and you bought the season pass, which in essence is the ultimate edition.
Yeah.
Sorry, fuck you. That's basically what they said.
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, after this, it's super bad publicity. 505's probably not going to sell very many Ultimate Edition copies.
Probably not.
Just saying.
At least not at full price.
No, it'll probably drop to $30 in a month.
Well, and for me at $30, I would do it.
Yeah,
because it's $40 now. The season pass is $30. So if they dropped it to the same price as a season pass as somebody who doesn't own the season pass, I would totally do that.
Right.
I
think that's super fair. But I mean that still kind of shoves out those people that own that bought that season pass. I mean,
there's absolutely already people that have already paid for this thing, and don't want to have to do it again. So I 100%. It is a very crap way, and they can't. I'm sorry, but now you're owned by Epic. You are an Epic studio. You would think that there would be a better way to do that. It's not like you're so hard up for the money that a sequel doesn't get made if you don't sell these Ultimate Editions.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, it's poor
it's just
consumer relations.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, it's very poor, and coming from Epic, that's not really a thing that we're used to either.
Yeah.
So I mean, this isn't just like a bad look for 505. It's a bad look for Epic too,
Yeah.
and I think they need to maybe get that under control a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to figure something out. Yeah, that's definitely coming from in studio.
Oh yeah. But I mean, after this last statement, I'm pretty sure like whatever their decisions are, it's already set in stone. I don't know. I don't see it really changing much.
No, like I said, to me, and this doesn't work for everybody, but to me, if they drop it $10, I'm happy. That's my
Right.
consumer point. But there's still other consumer points where it doesn't add up to people.
Yeah.
You know, offer these people, the people that supported you from the beginning and bought your season pass and bought like collector's editions of your game or whatever. Find a way, you know, to make it worth their while to purchase your next game, because not only is it going to affect sales of this Ultimate Edition, trying to stifle a sneeze, uh, but it's also going to affect Control 2 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Um, I mean, the thing is I feel like they're pushing away the consumers that made them able to make an Ultimate Edition.
yeah, yeah,
So,
basically, yeah. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And I'm one of the people. I bought like the Steelbook collector's
mhm,
edition of it, and but I waited for it to go on sale. I didn't buy it day one. I wasn't
right.
I wasn't those people that was knocking down the door for this game get day one. But it just kind of is what it is, and if it bites them in the end, it bites them in the end. That's on them at this point. But
It's gonna.
yeah, and it will. Uh, so our next bit of news today is the leak of the Prince of Persia remake. I know you're pretty excited about that, and it looks like we are going to get it at some point this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, you want to go ahead and talk about that one?
I mean, sure, man. I think I actually said this before we got on here. Prince of Persia is like one of those old forgotten games that was never really bad enough to be forgotten. They were pretty good games. I can't wait to see that setting in new gen.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to be absolutely beautiful. You mentioned earlier, like seeing what they've done with Assassin's Creed,
Mm-hmm.
like all of their scenery and environments are beautiful. So I think it's going to translate perfectly into a Prince of Persia, and it seems like they have a lot of experience. Like they've kind of almost turned Assassin's Creed into a sort of Prince of Persia style experience. So I mean, they have a ton of experience going towards this. It should be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, even if you just look at Assassin's Creed Origin, which is set,
Hmm.
in Egypt, very
Yep.
similar, Middle Eastern type setting. Yeah, I mean, it should make people, excited. I don't know if
Oh
it
yeah.
could go full open world like an Assassin's Creed game. I think you still keep them linear, level based, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it necessarily needs to be open world. I
Yeah,
mean, if you can make a linear level based um, good enough, you don't need open world.
yeah,
You
yeah,
really don't.
yeah. Actually, at this point, I see that too many open world games. Anyways, I don't have enough time in the world as it is to complete what I
Yeah.
have, as we know by the backlog series. But uh, it's just yeah, keep it nice level based game. But yeah, I think like the last one that came out was like the GameCube era. I think there was one that I think there was three or four that came out in that era, and the
Hmm.
last one of them made its way over to 360 and PlayStation
Yeah.
3. But that was it. Like first year stuff. First year, two
Yep. Yep.
generations ago now. So, but
But no, I definitely have my fingers crossed for that. Let's hope everything we want from it, and I'm sure it will be. I
Yeah.
have faith in Prince of Persia remake, man. Should be great.
But the next thing is something we touched on it last week because that's when everything went down, and that it is continuing this week, and that is Fortnite's battle with Apple and Google. And they're basically holding a free Fortnite tournament in the game this week, where one of the prizes is the evil Apple icon that they made in their little trailer that you see when you log into the game. And
Oh, yeah.
there's free Fortnite hats for your characters, and just all kinds of craziness going on this week.
Yeah, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. It's kind of what Epic's known for.
Yeah.
Like they'll take anything from anywhere and make it work in their game. But in that post we seen, there was one like comment that really bothered me. At the main bottom, it says industry professionals have voiced concerns about Epic using their player base in a legal dispute.
Yeah.
They're not using their player base in a legal dispute. Like what they're doing will gain no momentum in any sort of litigation at all. Like, it's not going to help their case or hurt their case.
Yeah.
Like, they're basically using their player base to spread how they think Apple is a piece of shit, not so much in any litigation or a legal dispute. Like,
Yeah. But I still see it as two multi-billion-dollar companies fighting over pennies. You know.
Yeah, what it is. It's 100% what it is.
But yeah, I've contemplated just logging in, not just because I bought the last season pass and I still need to unlock my Aquaman outfit, and I logged in the other day and bought the Catwoman outfit. That has nothing to do with it.
It's got a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit to do with it. No, I logged in the other day, and it's like they knew I was logging in that day. Their Batman stuff was on sale. The Catwoman, the Harley Quinn outfit was there, and Aquaman was there. I was like, all right, I see your play. I see how you are. All right, take my money, you bastards.
But I mean, it's yeah. But they're, again, we talked about it last week. They're super good at what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, cosmetic wise, and I mean, using this was genius, in my opinion, from them. Because they're shitting on Apple without shitting on Apple. You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's epic for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very epic way to do things.
Yeah. Literally, figuratively.
Yeah, literally, figuratively, however you want to put it together.
Oh, yeah.
But our next bit of news this week is Demon Souls might be here sooner than what we think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so usually games don't get their ESRB rating until, about 6 months or so, before they're out. And Demon Souls has an ESRB rating. So, it was always originally thought that the game would try to push for PlayStation 5 launch. And it sounds like it's definitely going to be at least launch window, which is first 3 months.
Right.
If not launch, So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty exciting for all the Soulsborne players out there in the world.
But you know what, man? I'm kind of worried about it. I'm kind of worried about Demon Souls remake in general, because Blue Point's making it. Now, I don't have anything against Blue Point. They've made very, very good games. Like their Shadow of the Colossus remake was amazing.
Yeah.
But you're taking on something that is supposed to hate the consumer.
Yeah.
Because it's super hard. And we all remember Demon Souls as being like one of the hardest games we've ever played in our lives.
Yeah. Insanely so.
Yeah. But my problem with that is, are they really going to make it that difficult again? And if they don't, I don't think it's going to be as big as they want it to be.
Well, I would think that, because, there's still a certain level of skill with Shadow of Colossus. They didn't take that away.
No, but it's also like Shadow of the Colossus also doesn't beat you into the ground in the
Yeah,
starting zone either.
yeah, that's very true.
Like,
That's very very
I
true.
mean, Shadow of the Colossus is a little forgiving, you know. Demon Souls was like the most unforgiving game we had ever seen at that time, really.
Yeah,
And it still kind of is one of the most unforgiving games we've ever seen. Like it's just mean. Um so like I hope Blue Point takes on like the fuck the player attitude. Um but if they don't, I just don't know how well it'll do
yeah,
review wise. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure people will still buy it and play the hell out of it, but
yeah. I mean, the worst thing I mean, I think the worst thing that they would do, and I could see them doing this, but maybe adding a lower difficulty.
right? And you know, I think there'll be outrage over that too.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, just a lower selectable one.
Right.
And if people don't like that, that's just one of those things. Sometimes you try to make a game a little bit more accessible, because definitely the original Demon Souls is not an accessible game, not a stretch
No.
of the imagination. I
Well,
that, that
see, kind of segueing off that,
uh
people cried for an easier game mode in Sekiro,
yeah,
and then like the elitists of that game mode lost their mind,
yeah,
basically. But also, the creator said it's not how it's meant to be played.
yeah,
Like this is how this game's meant to be played. So like I said, we'll just have to see. I kind of have a little bit of faith in them. I'm sure they'll do all right. Like I said, their Shadow of the Colossus remake was amazing.
yeah.
Let's hope for a launch window, because I'm pretty excited to play Demon Souls.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, launch window would put it no later than February.
right.
Great
And
Valentine's Day game.
yeah, yeah. I think that's reasonable though. I mean, launch window for this
Yeah.
is pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, because they've actually been working on it for a while. A couple of years
Yeah.
ago, they teased, basically they tweeted out like these five kind of, mysterious things and says, "Hey, we're doing two of these,"
Yeah.
and it was this game.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, hint,
Yeah.
hint. It was this game. It was Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
It was Legend of Dragoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember the other two. But if either one of the other two were Legend of Dragoon or Metal Gear, I would be ecstatic.
Oh yeah.
Because the Metal Gear series, they're not doing anything with that at this point. So, and it actually just came to light recently that it's rumored that they might be the studio that's working on a reboot of Silent Hills.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, now I've been like screaming for Silent Hill remakes.
Yeah.
Like,
But it sounds like there's been this rumor for about a year now. It's never been confirmed by Sony or Konami
right.
that Sony has basically an all-out licensing deal on all the Konami properties now, that they can make games for them. Because the only thing Konami's doing is like putting together collections and stuff like that.
Right.
The only games Konami care about making right now are their soccer games, because those make those sell millions upon millions of copies around the world. So, but it would be nice to see those other franchises used in some way. But speaking of remakes and remasters, Crisis Remastered has been confirmed and announced, and it sounds like another one of those instances where they're just going to push everyone's PCs to catch fire.
I actually have that written down. No bullshit. Like, Crisis. I mean, what they showed looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Their new graphics engine is top notch. But then after all of that, I have I wonder if it'll cause my PC to catch on fire this go around too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's another one of those things. We'll just have to see how everything goes, and hopefully it works out good. But since we're talking, PC, anyways, Sega has announced that basically going forward for a little while that they're going to be focused on PC ports. You know, porting a lot of things from their old
Yep.
catalog over to PC, which is a really smart move by them because their Persona 4 PC port sold through the roof.
Yep.
And, you know, it finally opened their eyes that, hey, this is a whole nother avenue for us to not just dump collections on. You know, because that's what they do with a lot of, you know, the older Sega stuff.
Oh yeah. And you know it. I think going back to that Persona, I think that really did open their eyes.
Yeah.
Like they probably took a step back and went, "Wait a minute, there's a whole market of consumers we haven't even touched."
Yeah.
And like it makes you wonder if they ever thought about it before that, and they were just like, "Hey, let's try this," and it just sold, like you said, through the roof. But all companies should do proper PC ports, man.
Yeah.
That's a whole market that doesn't really need any, I guess you could say, licensing or
Yeah.
signing a contract to really do. Anybody could do a PC port.
Yeah.
So,
But I will say also on the PC side, tends to be your least profitable.
right.
So that's why a lot of them don't do it, you know.
I mean, yeah, I get that. But, you know, porting something probably is nowhere near as costly as making it initially.
Yeah. Yeah, I think their biggest concern is, yeah, the porting cost is a thing, but also, you know, Steam's share. You know, Steam takes a way higher share than anybody else does.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they'll throw it on Epic.
I mean, it's a possibility. Everybody
Well,
else is.
It did say, I believe, in that article that it was like Steam and other available platforms.
Yeah.
So they're really not just segregating themselves to Steam, which I think is a smart business move. Competition is good for the consumer.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what ones they bring over. If they're just, you know, they're just going to bring over the other old Personas. You know, at what point? What point did they do Persona 5 or Persona 5
Yeah.
Royal? You know, because you know that those have been PlayStation exclusive for so long. You know,
Right. Yeah.
but our next bit of news for this week is some leaks, data mined out of the Tony Hawk demo. That
Yeah.
it looks like we have at least 2 hidden characters on the way.
Yep.
And one of them, you know, immediately jumped out to me as that character should have been in the original game, and that's the Gray Alien.
Yeah.
Because you know, when you unlock everything, when you get all the secret tapes and all the levels, it unlocks the Area 51 level at the end of the game. I was like, that was been perfect back in the day just to have an alien. But you know, I guess now they're fixing that situation. And also that Jack Black looks like he's going to be in the game, which makes a lot of sense. You know, he is a gamer and he's friends with Tony Hawk, and I think he did some stuff for the soundtrack. You know, the remastered soundtrack. So, but
And I mean, like on top of that, he's a perfect cameo
Yeah.
for the Tony Hawk series.
Yeah.
I mean, the Tony Hawk series were always like goofy and kind of comedic anyway, and he really fits that bill perfectly. So I hope it's a little bit more than a cameo, like more than like 30-second snippet of Jack Black in there. I hope there's a lot more based around him because he'll make that entire section hilarious.
But yeah, it would be interesting. I'm also curious too, because I don't know how the licensing would work on this now. But you know, back in the day, Tony Hawk 2 had a couple of different hidden characters. It had like Wolverine and Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
So you know, probably not Spider-Man now because of how the licensing on that works.
Yeah,
but you know,
nutty,
yeah. But
in the least.
yeah. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, how that goes. But that game, I'm sure we'll be talking about it more shortly. You know, it's not that far out, so
Yeah, not at all, actually.
yeah,
It's pretty soon.
yeah. It comes out on September 4th, so less than 2 weeks. But our last The next bit of news we've got is, and it's a game I'm sure we'll be talking about later, is Ghost of Tsushima is getting an update called Ghost of Tsushima Legends. And it's getting 4-player co-op and raids.
And it's free.
And it's free. Yeah.
And it's free.
Free, yes.
Nobody asked them for this. They were just like, you know what? We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna show how excited I am for that, but I'm stupid excited for that. Which, I mean, you've seen me play through a little bit of Ghosts in general. Being able to experience that world with my friends now, man, it's gonna be like, it's gonna take that to a whole new level for me.
No, I agree, and I'm curious to see what the 4-player raids look like, you know. And we're supposed to be getting like special abilities and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing how that works out, and
I feel like
giving it a go.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna fight over the samurai guy. That's just how I feel.
No, they didn't specifically say though that like it's only one of each, did they?
No, but they kind of implied it with everything they showed, because like they always, when showcasing it, they always just showed one of each in a very cinematic way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I took it. It may have just been for advertising reasons to really show all 4 different classes, but I mean, there's probably if they do it right, there's gonna be a need for every class in everything you do. So I mean, regardless of what you pick, you're gonna specialize in something that you would need in those missions and raids. It should be really good.
Yeah, and I believe that comes out in October.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll definitely check it out and give it a go, and we'll see how we survive in some co-op.
I'm sure there'll be some videos made on that.
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah, that will definitely be a thing we will be doing.
Maybe mini videos made on that. You just have to see.
Become the ultimate raid guide makers for Ghost of Tsushima.
Hey, but listen, if you need me to do it, I will write it all. Like,
no, we'll just make videos. Like, this is how you do this mechanic, and shoot for world's first and world's first raid completion.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm super for that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, we'll definitely give it a go whenever it comes out in October. But the next bit of news we got is kind of just a big multi-layered thing. Yesterday, DC Fandom kicked off, and it was a really cool event. I watched quite a bit of it, and we got 2 game announcements, and about what felt like about a half a dozen movie announcements.
Yeah.
We don't talk that much about movies on here, but it is something that we'll cover from time to time. Once everybody gets out of lockdown.
Yeah.
But so the first game that we got shown yesterday was the Gotham Knights game that's being done by Warner Brothers Montreal, and it looks like it's a 4-player co-op. In this one, Batman is supposedly dead, and they already said that it actually is not tied into the Arkham game story-wise, so it's a completely different timeline. But Batman is supposedly dead, and he's given the mantle to Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood.
Yeah.
Which is also, 3 former Robins and a Batgirl.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I watched, like, it took me a minute to figure out which Robin it was. At first I was like, is it Tim Drake? That would be cool if it's Tim Drake. But no, it looks more like Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
And, but, it'd be cool if they did add Tim Drake as later. it seems like that this is kind of like an open service game. Swap in and out co-op. Leveling
Yeah.
system, progression. They showed off about 7 to 10 minutes of game footage of them playing missions, and they already said that this is Batgirl. This is Batgirl at about 10 to 12 hours of progression.
Hmm.
This isn't how she starts the game, and Robin's teleporting around like a madman because he's using Justice League teleporting satellites,
Yep.
and it'd be interesting to get to see a little bit of a Mr. Freeze boss fight. And what I thought was really cool is you could face Mr. Freeze at level 5, and the boss
Yeah.
fight will be one way, but you can also face him at level 15, and it'll be completely different.
Yeah. I wasn't really excited for this when I initially seen it, but seeing that it's basically going to be much more fun co-op, I'll probably definitely pick this up. Because I think I mentioned this to you earlier too. The RPG elements, kind of like Odyssey,
Yeah.
really kind of throws me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to do that with a friend is going to make that a whole lot
Yeah.
more tolerable for me personally. Now, I know everybody else wouldn't think that way, but co-op really helps me on RPG-driven games like that.
And it looks like the main antagonist of this game is the Court of Owls, which is one of the amazing series of books that was done a couple of years ago by Scott Snyder through the Batman stuff. It's definitely it definitely became one of those must-read Batman parts of the series. They're basically like the Court of Owls is basically like, the best way to say it is like the Illuminati of Gotham. And they've been working there behind the shadows for years and years and years. To even Batman didn't know about them.
Yep.
And they have a the person that does all their dirty work, whatever assassinations and stuff like that, is assassins they keep by the name of Talon. That's the one we saw in the trailers with the big glowing eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically abduct children that they think would be suitable for it, like circus performers and stuff. Because in the comics, I don't know if they'll bring this into the game or not, but in the comics, Nightwing, Dick Grayson, the original Robin, was supposed to be a Talon. They were planning to kidnap him and make him one of them. But Bruce got him first, so. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly how far they go into that, and exactly how many villains. Because I rewatched it before we did everything today, and they mentioned that this is they're like, oh, so this is the Mr. Freeze storyline. I was like, okay, so you're telling me multiple villain storylines, not just one mission, there's your boss,
And I think it said it was like halfway through the Mr. Freeze storyline too.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
yeah, it wasn't like the end of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. So the way they implied that to me is that there's going to be a lot of content per villain, and that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it should be.
And if this is a games with service game, it could very easily just once every 6 months or something, or once every couple of months, just add another villain.
Yeah.
Batman has one of the largest rogues galleries of any comic book hero. So I mean, there's literally content there for years.
That's what I was gonna say. They could literally do this for years.
Yeah.
So and they're set on it too.
Yeah.
So it'll be super cool to see if it is one of those service games.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna work perfectly as a service game if they go that route. We'll have to see.
But yeah, the other game they showed off is by the people that made the original Batman trilogy, Rocksteady, and that's their Suicide game, which is called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Which, we talked about that. I didn't think that would be it, but it is, Suicide Squad ... kills the Justice League. And I still don't think that that's exactly what happens in the game. You can see from the, from the trailer, it looks like Brainiac has taken over Metropolis. And you can tell that Superman is possessed. and Harley and them are just out there, dicking around, basically acting like they're out there, acting like they're out there doing their job, basically trying to hide from Waller.
Oh yeah.
And it's good that I like the lineup that they chose. And I've seen some things. I saw somebody complain about the Captain Boomerang, flying, moving around real fast like that. But that tells me that is the second Captain Boomerang. That is which was the son of Captain Boomerang and Golden Glider in the comics, which was a speedster.
Right.
So that's how he's able to move like that, and that's how he was able to do it in the comics. So I'm glad that they're using that one. King Shark is another one. He's also going to be in the next Suicide Squad movie. King Shark is, and people are like, "Oh, he seems a little too smart," and I'm like, everybody to their own interpretations, But I will say that to me, the Harley Quinn is just straight up Margot Robbie, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Even though she's not voicing it, it's Tara Strong again. But I'm 100% okay with them, giving that Margot Robbie look to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even though it was like shown once, really, her look of Harley, it's gonna be a staple look for Harley now. I mean, it just fits that character so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still don't understand why they gave it a 6 mile long name. I don't understand the point of kills the Justice League on the end of it. But I mean, it's their game. They can do whatever they want. It looks good just from the trailer, just from the setting we're in, everything in the environment. But yeah, I can't wait to see more about it. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Still that name though.
Yeah. Like I said, the name's a little off-putting, but I trust Rocksteady. At this point, to me, they've made 3 games, and I loved all 3 of them. So
right.
I've got to kind of give them a pass on a name at this point, I guess.
I guess I'm just waiting to see what the purpose of that name is or was, and how it revolves or how it involves the game. So I will have to wait to see what the end of the game really is. If we actually kill the Justice League, like you said, though, I highly doubt that's going to happen. So if it doesn't happen, that makes me question the name even more so. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a name. As long as the gameplay and the content is there, it doesn't matter.
And there's already been a bunch of stuff come out, like rumors and stuff. People that claim to be the big insiders have, they're saying different things. And one of them that I heard, though, that was kind of interesting, that is, the entire Justice League, except for Batman, has been taken over by Brainiac.
I mean...
And Batman joins up with the Suicide Squad to, take out the Justice League and stop Brainiac.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
That's a really cool plot line to go down.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like you said, we already seen just from the trailer that Brainiac has taken over the city, so I mean that falls in line perfectly with that entire idea.
Yeah. Yeah, but I imagine, it'll probably be a little while before we see any more from that game. I don't expect these games to release too close to each other. I would expect Gotham Knights to be the one to come out first. I think we get Gotham Knights in 2021. We get Suicide Squad in probably early 2022, mid 2022, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was gonna say like probably the first 5 months of 2022.
Yeah,
we would see that game.
Yeah, because the Arkham releases have been all over the map. Like when Rocksteady doesn't really work by a defined, this is when our games come out type of thing. The first Batman game was like April release. The second one was an October release, and Night was a May release or June release. So yeah.
Which that's kind of a good way to do it in my opinion. Because even if a release date would leak, everybody's gonna take that with a large grain of salt
Yeah.
because there's no like reoccurring theme from them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can always expect a Naughty Dog game to be the first half of the year. You can always expect a Call of Duty game to be October or November. You can always
yep,
expect a Battlefield game to be October or November. You can
yep.
always expect a Destiny expansion in the fall. There's just some of these things, work like clockwork every year.
And I mean that's great for them, but I don't know. I think I kind of prefer the spontaneous method that they have. Like you never know what you're gonna get, and when you get it, you're pretty surprised. So
But yeah, and just to cover, I don't know, did you watch any of the movie stuff? All
I
right, so
didn't.
there's a trailer for the Robert Pattinson Batman movie where he just flat out fucks a guy up, like like it is just a brutal beatdown. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
I seen that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the only thing that I seen. And
yeah.
yeah, um, people give Robert Pattinson a lot of shit, but if this is how he's gonna play Batman, man, it's gonna be great.
Like, to me, a lot of the Batman fight scenes are overly choreographed and stuff sometimes, but leading up to this, like, my favorite Batman fight scene was Batman versus Superman, where I don't know if you've ever seen Batman versus Superman, but
Haven't.
there's a scene where Batman goes in to save Superman's mom, and it's in a warehouse, and he just annihilates, just a brutal takedown after brutal takedown of a whole room of guys. And that's what this reminds me of. I was like, if that's the fighting style they're going with, I'm 100%, I'm all in on it. And, it looks like the main villain is the Riddler. And we saw a snippet of the Penguin also, which is very,
Yeah.
very different looking. And I think damn it, I can't remember who plays the Penguin now. It's gonna bother me. I actually have to look it up.
Power of the internet, go.
Yeah, it's Colin Farrell. That's who I
Okay.
thought. Yeah, that's who I thought. And he looks nothing like himself under those prosthetics in
Right.
the moment you see him in the trailer. And we see somebody in the that's like has a black mask with goggles on and stuff, and he's setting up riddles. So we don't know if that's the Riddler or like a Riddler henchman. But it's a very dark, realistic more feel to it. And Jeffrey Wright is playing Commissioner Gordon, which I'm just all about. If anybody's ever watched Westworld or any of the amazing things Jeffrey Wright's ever been in, he's a great actor. But they showed that. They showed a roll call for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and man, does it have a lot of people in it. And they've already flat out said that not all of them will survive. You know, the only returning characters from the first Suicide Squad is Margot Robbie,
Yep.
Jai Courtney as Boomerang, Captain Boomerang, and I think there was one more. Oh yeah, Joel Kinnaman as like Rick Flag, the leader of the group. But those are the only ones that return, and then they add like 8 new people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big cast, and when James Gunn comes out and says this is the biggest, best movie I've ever made, when you look at the movie, he made the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies. If he considers those this bigger than those, I mean,
Come on.
we're in for
Yeah.
something. He usually doesn't. He usually doesn't downplay his old movies like that, especially considering he's going back and making another Guardians of the Galaxy after he's done with Suicide Squad. But yeah, that looked awesome. They announced that Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flash movie. They also announced that Michael Keaton is going to be in the Flash movie, and then they showed off footage of him in that movie, or him in his new outfit. Nate, you still there? Guys, I'm podcasting by myself now, by the power of the internet. Okay, his internet dropped. We'll give him a minute to get reconnected. Oh, yeah, it's just me now, guys. Everything. This is weird. So we've been doing this for a while. I will give it a minute here, and we'll leave this in here, and I guess I'll just continue to vamp on the movies. But let's see if I can get him back in the call. Not yet. It doesn't look like yet. But yeah, I'm really excited for these movies, and especially the Flash one, having two Batmans in it. Ezra Miller's going to have a new suit. You know, all that stuff looked really good. But let's see if we can get him back connected. Oh, looks like he's logging in now. Can we get the man re-invited? So yeah, I guess I will just sit here and call everything a shit show for a minute. Guys, I guess this is what happens when you have everything set up, and you can see how our calls work now because I'm now filling both blocks of the screen. Let's see. Can we just move me back over here? Nope, that's too far. Hey, and now you can also see my desktop. Isn't that lovely? But I'm trying to think of what else came out of DC fandom that I know off the top of my head. We got to see like a 4-minute trailer for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, which looks amazing. You know, that the movie that we saw in theaters, a lot of people didn't like, and you know they just thought, you know, it was, you know, Zack Snyder screwed this up, but in turn, you know, most of that movie was made by Josh Whedon, not Zack Snyder, as you could very much so tell from the different tone of the movie from the trailer. But we'll see here. Are we back up? Can we get back up? Oh, I'm shooting out an invite. I'm shooting out an invite, guys. So it might be funny here for another second or two. The the great idea of you know, doing your show live on the internet is, oh yep, and there he is. There you are.
We're back.
You're back. We're still alive. I just been vamping, you know, just rattling on about whatever come off the top of my head.
Listen, man. As soon as I noticed on our Zoom call that your face had went still, I like got and sprinted.
I was sitting here talking, and I was like, Nate, stop moving. I'm a little scared. I was like, is he in heavy thought? It's like, he's not moving at all. And I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes.
Anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah.
I seem to be back for now. Let's hope it stays that way. So what happened after I left? What do I need to hop back?
You know, I was still talking about the movies. We were talking about Suicide Squad. I talked about Justice League a little bit too.
Okay.
The Snyder Cut is a drastically different movie from what we saw in theaters. And you know, they put out a very nice 4-minute long trailer, and I expect it to be very, very good.
Right.
Then I mentioned the Flash movie, and the Flash movie is going to have at least 2 Batmans in it. One being Michael Keaton, and one being Ben Affleck.
Yep.
And he's getting a whole new suit, so which looks very nice. It's not that heavy armored thing he's had going into Justice League movie, which isn't the worst in the world, but you know, it still doesn't feel quite right.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I really remember coming out of DC fandom. But our next topic this week is a topic we've been putting together. You know, we're getting to that point. You know, it's almost September. We're getting into the video game time of the year where it starts to just be release after release after release. And we thought we would hit on some of the games we're excited to play for the rest of the year. So you want to go ahead and start us out with one of yours? And
Sure. And I think this is on everybody's watch list. Cyberpunk. I mean, that has to be in everybody's anticipated list for the rest of the year. From what we've seen of that game, it's going to be great. Um, I hope it lives up to another game I've been playing recently. I hope it pulls me in as much as that game. I don't know if it will. I really hope it does, but now I have very high standards for RPG games for this year, so.
But yeah, like you said, hopefully it works out, and yeah, it's probably the most anticipated game for the rest of the year that
Yeah.
we have a firm release date on, and they were trolling people, the other day, basically tweeting out they put up one of those the little yellow box that they use to put out announcements and stuff like that, and it was
Mhm.
the Rick Astley
Oh, yeah.
lyrics. And then I guess yesterday or today they tweeted out 89 more days. So
Awesome.
sounds like they are going to hit this date. I would think at this point if they weren't going to hit this date we would know.
They would have already said something.
Yeah,
I mean,
or they would be more hesitant about doing the type of stuff they're doing if they were
Right.
if they were unsure that was something that was coming back. But so my first one is I'm just gonna kind of go in order from the release. Is Tony Hawk remake 1 and 2. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna give it a try. See if it captures those good nostalgia vibes that I have for those games. And that one's not that far away, so hopefully works out pretty good.
I played the Tony Hawk games when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Um, and as much as I don't want to say this, I'm not that excited for this. And the reason I'm not very excited for this is because when Skate came out and completely revolutionized the way that you flipped a board in a game,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if going back to button mashing,
Yeah.
doing flip tricks is going to be all that fun for me. Because Skate actually took a little bit of skill. Um, Tony Hawk games do not.
No,
So
see that's why it's one of those things when it comes to Tony Hawk. I just like the fun dumbness of it. I like the arcadiness
right,
of it. I don't need the hyper realistic. Two different sides of the same coin, basically. There,
right,
yeah,
and I mean that's completely acceptable though.
yeah,
Like it's super cool. Um, but no, my next one is Valhalla. That's probably on just about every list
yeah.
too. Um, I think they're really doing something amazing with that game, with everything that they showed us, building settlements, expansion, stuff like that. It's going to be super good. I think they're building off of what Odyssey was in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's no, I definitely think that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and that's one of the extended ones on my list too. But yeah, I fully expect that game I plan to enjoy that game quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
I always enjoy the Assassin's Creed games. I fully expect to do the exact same thing with this one. But my next one is Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 4. They're saying that the game is huge, tons of levels. Like I'm looking forward, because a lot of people complained about the full $60 price tag at that point. And to me, I don't care.
Was it last week or the week before that we really talked about that?
It was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I mean, man, what they're doing with the innovation of that
Yeah.
game, how they're like really putting a lot of work into fully fleshing out an immersive uh, gameplay experience, adding so many different mechanics for a Bandicoot game is going to be amazing.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree, and I'm sure speedrunners will tear it up. So when
Oh
the
yeah,
time comes,
going to be huge.
yeah. But yeah, so that comes out October 2nd.
Yep.
So that one is only like a month and a week away. So uh, that'll be another one to look out for.
So yeah, my next one's probably not one that's on very many lists, or it may not be. I'm not sure. But Godfall. Um, Godfall looks very interesting to me. Now I didn't so much get into Warframe, and it looks a lot kind of like Warframe,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough like Warframe to where I'm really gonna like sink my teeth into it. A
Yeah.
slasher looter, kind of like Warframe, but not as wild.
Yeah.
Seems super fun to me. I'm sure I'll end up putting many hours into that game.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, I don't think that's probably on very many lists. I don't think we have a set in stone release date
Well, that's
yet.
that's another one that's supposed to be a PlayStation launch title.
Right, yeah,
So
which we don't know.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. It's another one of those. It's not quite set in stone.
yeah.
But my next one is it's a weird little game, and we know so little about it. But I don't care. I'm still gonna give it a try if it's not complete trash. It's called GI Joe Operation Blackout.
Hmm.
It literally looks like I don't know, like Fortnite, where half of the people are GI Joe and half of them are Cobra. It's
Yeah, yeah.
at least what I got from the one little trailer. That's all the footage we've seen so far. We have not seen a lot about this game. Comes out on October 13th. It only costs $40.
Yep.
So expectations are already set that tick lower, anyways. But if it is just Fortnite with GI Joe, I would be all about it. Or like Battlefront with GI Joe would probably be a better, explanation for that rather than Fortnite. But
Yeah.
yeah, I will. I don't care that hits a good nostalgia button for me. I'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Should be a fun little game. It may be more than just a fun little game. It may be a fun, awesome game. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. But
um,
what do you got next on your list?
I think just about everybody probably has this one on their most anticipated too. Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
I think 29th is when this drops.
Yeah,
October?
yeah, October
Yeah,
29th.
October 29th. And I mean, we're gonna have like an overrun month of October for games.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a lot of stuff drop from what we've seen earlier in the year about what they're doing with this game. How you can basically play the game any way you want.
hmm
That's super ingenuitive. Or, I mean, it's gonna be great.
no, yeah, I 100% agree with that. That game was on my list,
Hmm.
and I fully expect to just enjoy the hell out of that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But my next game is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Even if this just kind of ends up being a very large expansion for the OG
Yeah.
Spider-Man game, I'm 100% okay with that because I'm also getting the first Spider-Man game with it, which I will
Right.
definitely play through again and get the platinum trophy again. But yeah, no, I 100% will play this game. It took me, whenever Spider-Man first came out, it took me like a day to really get used to the swinging mechanics into it, and
Hmm.
to finally have that Spider-Man game to where if I shoot out my web slinger and there's nothing there to grab onto, guess what? I'm gonna fall. You
Yep.
know. Yeah. You know, it's not one of those, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm swinging from cloud to cloud, you know, like a lot of the old Spider-Man games have been.
Oh yeah.
But
Grabbing onto air
you
particles.
know,
That's cool, boys.
and you know, they set up that Miles at the end of the first game, they set up that Miles has his powers now.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, it would be exciting to see where they take that, and I'm sure this game absolutely continues to set up for the next full-fledged Spider-Man game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I will absolutely, you know, as long if it's still a PlayStation 5 release date title, then it's absolutely a day one purchase for me.
Um, it'll probably be a day one purchase for me too.
Yeah.
I plan on getting a PS5 as soon as it drops.
Yeah.
So you gotta have some games in there, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be a great one at launch.
Yeah. Do you have anything left on your list, or?
Yeah, actually, I have two more games.
Okay.
Star Wars Squadrons. I am stupid excited for this game. Um, it seems like a very competitive uh flight Star Wars battle simulator. There's so much you can there's so much you can do in this game.
Mhm.
Um, it's insane. Like between putting all of your power to guns, engines, or your shields, being able to change the direction where you put most of the power into your shields.
Yeah.
It's going to be super, super competitive, especially in PvP settings. Um, you know what? I really hope they make this into like an esports game because it can totally be an esports game.
No, yeah, I 100% could see that happening. You know, especially with it being an EA game. You know,
Yep.
that's still, you know, until they had Apex, they didn't really have anything that competed in that market, and still Apex really doesn't compete, and I don't think they've officially esported that game completely.
I mean, they've had tournaments here and there, but
Yeah.
they never really. I mean, it's not like a Rocket League
Yeah.
or a CS:GO type of esport game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is going to be the one they could do it on. I think they could really, and it'll be completely unique in esports to anything else.
Yeah.
So I mean, that'll be great.
But yeah, and that one comes out first week of October, I think,
Yep.
right? But so the next game I got is another PlayStation 5 launch title, and that's Ratchet and Clank. I'm all about playing some more Ratchet and Clank. It's good to see them, you know, continuing the series. It's been a while. Actually, there hasn't been a new official like new game until
Right.
since PlayStation 3. You know, the only one that came out on PlayStation 4 was a remake of the original. So, which is a great game. You know.
Oh yeah.
But it's absolutely, the game looked stunning. You know, it really showed off what they can do with the PlayStation 5 so far, and it's definitely another one of those day one purchases for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My last one that I personally have, and we kind of don't know if it's this year.
Mhm.
We talked about it earlier,
Yeah,
and that's Demon Souls. Um, Again, we're kind of speculating it to more than likely be in that launch window.
yeah,
It very well could come before the end of the year, but it very well could come after the end of the year too. But I'm putting it in this list because it's close enough for me. It's gonna be a great game. Like I said, I have a little bit of concerns with it, on difficulty wise, but other than that, I have faith that they're gonna make the gameplay amazing, and things such as that. Because I mean, Blue Point, again, their remake of Shadow of the Colossus was amazing. So I have faith in them.
yeah. No, I 100% agree. This will be another one of those, whatever day it comes out, I will own it. You know, type of deals, and I'll play it for 3 hours, and it'll just beat the shit out of me, and I'll be like, all right, I'm done. I feel good, guys. Good day.
I'll end up beating it.
Yeah.
I just like Souls games. Uh, They speak to the competitive nature against the system, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the last one that I have is
mhm.
it's not really a new game; it's an expansion. And even though the timing of it is very piss poor, where it's landing at now because of their delay, and that is the Destiny 2 Beyond Light expansion. You know, yeah, I've talked about it on the podcast the last couple of months. I've really gotten back into the game after being gone for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I finally found a clan of people that are constant players and want to raid and they want to teach, and I just love jumping in, learning the raids, helping people do exotic quests. You know, oh, and I think actually a lot of my assignment from that, because at one point I talked about maybe I don't buy it until like the beginning
Right.
of January or something like that. But now it's gotten to the point for me where it's probably a day one purchase again for me, just because I have that group of people again that I can play with.
Oh yeah, and believe it or not, the way you've talked about Destiny lately has really kind of made me want to get back into it.
Yeah.
Um, but like all of my progress was on Xbox, and I don't have an Xbox anymore. I have a PlayStation. So to play with you, I would have to start completely over. Um,
Well, it's also one of those things though where they've revamped the game so much that you're going to basically be starting over anyways.
right.
Like everything, yeah, you might have exotics and stuff like that on your old accounts, but there is also cross save.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if you still have your Microsoft account, you go to Bungie, you have your Bungie account, you tie your PlayStation account and your Xbox account to it, and those characters will work, and your PC account even, and it'll work on all three. The same characters, you know. The only difference is, you have to buy DLC for every platform, but still yet, you won't be playing on Xbox, so you won't be buying DLC there. You'll be playing on PlayStation, so if you buy DLC, it'll be there. And if you decide to play on PC, there's a lot of stuff you can do on PC without, you can't really do the new raids or
Right.
story content, the newer story content, but there's still a lot of, you can do, all your weekly stuff
Hmm.
without having to buy another thing just to play on PC.
Yeah, I may get back into it. You may have another person to carry through raids here shortly.
Yeah,
So
no, absolutely. You know me. I enjoy a good raid. And trust me, they've been doing carrying of me here lately. So, they've taught me, a couple of raids that I didn't already know. So,
awesome.
and, just continue to learn more. If I don't screw it up too bad.
Right.
Yeah. But, that's it for the biggest, like, releases for the rest of the year. There's some things that I think they're funny. Like, PlayStation 4 is finally getting auto chess, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
And there's like a Transformers Battlegrounds that kind of looks like an XCOM Transformers game.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll wait and see what that does, and little things like that, and there's plenty of things that still don't have release dates that I fully expect to get this year, like the Hollow Knight sequel. I would expect we still get that this year. Probably Axiom Verge 2 we still get this year.
Yeah, yeah.
They just don't have release dates yet. The Cuphead DLC I would imagine is still this year. Um, there's still quite a bit of stuff that's real, that we know about that doesn't have a quite official release dates. Uh, Hitman 3, I'm pretty sure they've already said it's February, so that doesn't quite make it into this year. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I always buy those games. I don't buy them day one because I don't pay $60 for Lego games. But and really, there might be a new WoW expansion this year. It might make it squeak its way into this year, and Overwatch 2 might still squeak its way into this year. You never know. Because Overwatch 2 at this point feels more like an expansion than an actual full game.
Right.
So, which I'm perfectly okay with. You Resident Evil Village. That's like a February release, also I think, or March, somewhere around in there. So, that didn't quite make it into this year. Basically, there's a lot of stuff on the way.
Oh yeah, there's tons. Like like even just like even just stuff we know for without a shadow of a doubt in October is insane that's dropping. Like October is full of big title releases. So
Yeah. Everybody just heard my Facebook notification probably across the stream, so I didn't realize I still had Facebook open on my computer.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already had one big technical difficulty. It'll be fine.
Yeah, last week I forgot to update all the titles and post the podcast to the Facebook page after it had already been on YouTube for 2 days. Stuff like that. Yeah. It was a rough week. It's been a very up and down busy week. But basically, the last thing we got this week is what you've been playing. And I know what you've been playing because I sat there the other day with a map in my hand pointing out the locations for you to go. So, you want to talk about what you've been playing?
I'm actually really upset that I can no longer play this game. Well, I guess I can, but there's no real merit anymore. Ghosts of Tsushima. I've never played a game like, and when I say never played a game like this, I've played other story-driven games, but I've never personally put this much effort and time into a game. I've never been this immersed into a game. I don't know what it is about that game, but I have post-game depression. I'm pretty sure I have post-game depression.
Yeah. So, you also achieved your first ever platinum trophy.
Yep, it'll probably be my only platinum trophy ever.
Yeah.
Until the second one.
Yeah.
So.
But Ghost was a great enjoyable game. You dove headlong into it. Like at first, you kind of played on and off, but then you got to a point where it just grabbed you, hooked you, and it's all you did for like a week and a half.
Yeah. I just plowed, and I couldn't help it. Like, I would, because I kept my PlayStation at work, so I could play like on and off there when I had time. And I would come home from work. I would like sit down and play Rocket League or something, and all I could think about was like, I have to save these people from these fucking Mongols. Like that's all I could think about. And I wish there was more content to that game, even though I'm not dissing that game at all. It had a great amount of content in it. I just want more, and I believe Legends is going to be that for me. I'm so excited about that. But other than Ghost, a little bit of Rocket League, that's about it. Most of my last week and a half has been strictly Ghost.
Yeah, so basically for me this week, I don't think I feel like I've been all over the world this week. I haven't got to play that much. I played I played some Destiny. Played Fall Guys like one time. I need to sit down because they're getting ready to announce like their next season pass type deal, and I think we still have like 20 days left on this one. But I need to sit down and make it all the way to 40 on it.
Right.
Make sure I get all my stuff and all my crowns. But it's mostly been Destiny, raiding, finishing Exotic Quest. The day that my power went out, Paper Mario for about 3 hours.
Can't blame you.
Yeah, power's out. All right, grab the Switch and see what's next. But I finally actually got to a pretty good point in Paper Mario where things have picked up because I feel like. It being a Nintendo game, sometimes they do hold your hand a little hard at the beginning. But especially in the RPG format, they want to make sure that, if an adult bought this for their kid, that the kid understands what's going on.
Yeah.
And I understand that. That's Nintendo's, that's their livelihood. That's how those things work.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. They should kind of have the option to not have your handheld. in the options somewhere.
Yeah. No, I
That
agree.
would be a bad feature.
Yeah.
But I understand why they do what they do. So.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Actually, it's been a
Yeah, no, not really. It's been a really good week for news. A lot of leaks came out. Yeah, I'm super excited for the PS5 again. I wasn't a PlayStation guy until very recently, and one game turned it all around for me.
Yeah. That's okay. We're gonna get you in on some more PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Here, hopefully sometime in the next week. I'm kind of curating a little list of stuff, and I'm just gonna here play this.
Listen, I cannot promise.
Yeah.
That it will grab a hold of me.
No. Yeah, I
try.
100% understand that. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I 100% understand that. But yeah, I'm gonna hand you like hand you a Batman game and Horizon and maybe Persona 5. And
See, I've never played a Persona in general.
yeah. Well, luckily the story doesn't really carry from game to game. So
that's good then.
Yeah, in that kind of Final Fantasy kind of sense, where
right.
games tend to be closed off from each other. There's things that will carry over. Like mules and chocobos and summons and stuff like that. But
Right.
stories are always self-contained for the most part. But yeah, we're going to try and get you a couple more games. Like I know you've played God of War, and
Yep.
I've got a decent list of stuff. I'm trying to curate it down to about 5 games. That way, I can just hand them to you all at one time, and get it done.
I kind of lied a little bit though, because Detroit Become Human grabbed me pretty hard too. I really enjoyed that game when it came out.
Yeah, and you've never played his other games, have you?
So I have Heavy Rain, but it was so slow starting that it just kind of turned me off of it. Like Detroit kind of tells you this is the direction we're going immediately.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain, man, I think I played it for like 2 or 3 hours and still never really got anywhere. And I was like, man, this is.
That game's got some crazy twist in it, though.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I may go back and revisit. More than likely will. So.
Well, that's good. Beyond Two Souls is a little trippy, kind of out there, a little too off in the, out there. But it's still an interesting game, if you have access to that one. But
I don't, but I wouldn't mind looking into that and playing it either.
Yeah. Well, I know at one point, if you have Heavier Rain for PlayStation 4, I know at one point they were sold together. So I didn't know if you had both or.
I'm not sure. I'll have to check my library.
No.
We'll find out. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all we got for news this week, guys. That's the show. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. Thanks for everybody that hung around during our technical difficulties.
Yeah, sorry about that again. Not my fault.
Yeah, we blame the cable company, not him.
Yep.
And as always, we record on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. If you on the Facebook page, we usually post what day it's going to be, and it's always live on Mondays on the YouTube channel. Just search to Geekdom, and you'll be able to find it, hopefully. But yeah. But that's pretty much it for this week, guys. So thanks for stopping by. I'm Joseph. And that's Nate.
I'm Nate.
And we'll catch you next time. Later.
Y'all take care.